Hello, welcome to Miss YY channel. Today we are going to discuss chapter 2.3 Nomenclature of Inorganic Compound. So in this session, we will cover on how to define cations and anions and how to name cations and ions and salt according to the IUPAC nomenclature. So this includes polyatomic ions such as phosphate ion, sulfate ion, ammonium ion. Cation can be defined as a positive charge ion which forms when a neutral atom loses electron. So in cation, the number of proton is greater than the number of electrons. For example, magnesium ion Mg2+ and ammonium ion NH4+. An ion is a negative charge ion which forms when a neutral atom gains electron. So in an ion, the number of electrons is more than the number of protons. For example, Cl-, chloride ion and hydroxide ion OH-. So remember, when a neutral atom forms ion, it is formed by losing or gaining of electron, and the number of protons always remain the same. So next, monoatomic ion. So monoatomic ion, it means that the ion only contains one atom. Example, Fe3+ or S2-. And for polyatomic ion, it means that the ion can contain more than one element in the ion. Even with the same type of element, but if there is more than one atom, it will be classified as polyatomic ion. Example, H3O+, Cn-. And how about Hg2+? How about the mercury 1 ion? Is that polyatomic or monoatomic? So mercury 1 ion, it has more than one atom, so it is considered as polyatomic ion. Now let's see how to give the nomenclature of cations and anions and salt using IUPAC system. So salt form when metals and non-metals combine. The metals atoms will lose one or more electrons to become cations, and the non-metal atoms will gain electrons to become anions. So the common symbol for cations, we will have the positive charge, and anion we will have the negative charge. And the electrostatic force attraction between the positive ions and the negative ions will form our ionic compound known as salt. So how to write the chemical formula for salt? We can use a crisscross method. So here, the crisscross method will give X4 and Y2. And when you are writing the chemical formula, remember to reduce the ratio to the lowest. So our chemical formula will be X2Y for the salt. So in this, based on here, we know that the salt is made of 2 X atom and 1 Y atom. So how can we give the nomenclature of cation? Normally, cation from metals of group 1, 2 and 13, we can name the metals followed by the words ion. And normally, they only have one single oxidation number. So for example, when lithium metal lost one electron, it becomes lithium+. So it's called lithium ion. And when magnesium metal, which is from group 2, so from group 2, normally it will lose 2 valence electrons to become Mg2+, and it's called magnesium ion. So the oxidation number you can see from the group. So it's from group 1, normally they will lose 1 electron to become +1, And then group 2, normally it will have the charge of positive 2, and group 13, normally the ion will have a charge of positive 3. So sometimes there will be ions with more than one oxidation number, and this one normally are the metals from the transition metal. Okay, so they are normally the transition metal elements such as iron 2 plus and iron 3 plus. So in this table, these are the name and oxidation number of the cations you need to remember. So normally for group 1, group 2 and group 13, their charge is based on the group, and the name is the metal followed by the word ion. So it is easier to remember. However, for the metal from transition element, they can have more than one oxidation number. So for example, copper 1 ion, copper 2 ion, mercury 1 ion, mercury 2 ion. So when you give the name for the ion, you have to see what is the charge. So if for example ferric 2 plus, the charge is 2, so your name of the ion will be iron 2 iron. So remember to write the Roman here to represent the oxidation number. Next, the nomenclature of anions. The name of monoatomic anions is obtained by adding the suffix IDE to its stem. So for example, chlorine. So when chlorine atom gain 1 electron, we will name the ion as chloride ion. And fluorine is called fluoride ion, and bromine is called bromide ion, and iodine is called iodide ion. So we have replaced the INE with the IDE. So these ions, they are from the group 17 halogen. And there are some other exceptions for the polyatomic ions such as hydroxide ion OH-, cyanide ion Cn-, and also peroxide ion O2, 2-. Polyatomic anions containing oxygen normally end with ATE or ITE. So for example, NO3 nitric ion, and NO2 is known as nitrite ion. So here are the examples of the formula and name of the ion that contain oxygen, which you have to memorize. How can we name polyatomic anions containing hydrogen with additional hydrogen atom? So with one hydrogen atom, we will add hydrogen to the anions. Okay, and if there are 2 hydrogen atoms, we will add dihydrogen to the IUPAC name of the anion. So for example, carbonate ion. So if we add 1 hydrogen to carbonate ion, it will be known as hydrogen carbonate ion. And as you can see, the charge also will reduce to -1 because hydrogen normally contains +1 charge. And how about phosphate ion? When we add 1 hydrogen, the formula will become HPO4. So the charge 3- will reduce to 2-. And if we add 2 hydrogen atoms to phosphate ion, the charge will become H2PO4-. Because when you add 2 hydrogen atoms, you have add our hydrogen atoms carry the +1 charge. And HPO4 2- will be known as hydrogen phosphate ion, and H2PO4- will known as dihydrogen phosphate ion. So now let's look at the IUPAC naming of salt or ionic compound. When a metal combines with a non-metal element, the metal is named before the non-metal. So it means that we will write the name of the metal first, followed by non-metal. So for example, Fe2SO4 3 is known as barium 3 sulfate, and FeCl3 is known as iron 3 chloride, and CuCl2 is known as copper 2 chloride. So these are the metal from transition element. So they have more than one oxidation number. So when we write the name of the salt, we must include the Roman. So the name of the ionic compound come from the combination of the cations and anions. Okay, come from the combination of the name of the cation and anion. So for example, calcium ion Ca2+ with chloride ion. So I can get the formula by using crisscross method. So my formula will be CaCl2. So it's the name of the salt is called calcium chloride, which is a combination of the metal ion and the non-metal ion. Okay, so now let's try on the example questions. Give the formula, name and charge of ions of the following compound. So the first one, we have aluminum hydroxide. So aluminum hydroxide is made of aluminum ions and hydroxide ions. So aluminum ions will be Al3+, because it's lost 3 electrons. Aluminum is in group 13, so it will lose 3 electrons to become Al3+, and hydroxide ion is OH-. By using the crisscross method, we can get the chemical formula of the aluminum hydroxide, which will be AlOH3. And for copper sulfate, so copper is a transition metal element, so it will have more than one oxidation number. So based on the name, you can see the 2 Roman here. So it tells us that the Roman 2 symbol tells us that the copper has a positive 2 charge. So it will be Cu2+, and sulfate ions will be SO4 2-. So the crisscross method will be give us the chemical formula of Cu2SO4 2, and we have to reduce to the lower ratio, so it will be CuSO4. If you enjoy watching my video, please click like, share and subscribe. Thank you.